massive surprise, to be honest with you. There I was end of the season, looking forward to a little bit of a break. It'd been a long season, we've done pretty well, and next thing you know, I'm getting invited to Nets and getting called up to India. So it was a massive surprise, as it was on the radar then. But just think that's how it happens sometimes, and I was absolutely over the moon that it did. So after that, came back 2 feet on the ground again. Then headed off to Potchefstroom for a nice fitness camp, which is always
a nice fitness camp.
A nice, in inverted commas, fitness camp, and then off to Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, which unfortunately finished, not so well for me. A little bit of an injury, but it was a very eventful winter. Absolutely pleased with how it went.
So, was it pretty much out of the blue? You didn't have sort of phone calls sort of sounding them out beforehand, sort of towards the end of the season?
No, look, I mean, obviously, when you're sort of on the conveyor belt, as it were, when you're coming up through the skill sets and the ECB camps and all that sort of stuff, I would have thought that it would have gone to England Lions first. Obviously, I did during the summer, and I thought maybe I would have gotten myself on the winter tour, but to get fully fledged England colours that winter for me was a very nice surprise. It was a phone call after I'd come to bowl in the Nets during that 2020 against West Indies. But even then I thought I was only getting invited to come because I needed some spare bowlers. So, but it was again it was on the radar at some point. I just didn't expect it to happen as soon as it did. But again, over the moon that it did.
Are you pleased to have had that early experience with the full England setup, or would you prefer a more gradual introduction, do you reckon?
No, there's nothing like chucking yourself in the deep end and seeing how you cope. I'd like to think that I didn't embarrass myself or shame myself with how I went. In the 2 games that I went, I obviously had a good introduction, and when I came my first game, second game I got sort of shown up just how tough it has to be at international level, even to the last over. But again, in that game I didn't bowl badly, so it's just showing, just how good you have to be when you're coming up against the world's best, like Dhoni when he was cutting me back past my head. So, I'm very pleased with the way it went, because now it's given me a taste for, what I really want to do, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
What was the cricketing experience like out there? Were you sort of overawed by it all, or was it what you expected?
Look, I've been to India before, and you sort of go there with your sort of connotations of how you've gone before, and I think with this, obviously, it's a different kettle of fish. You're now with the big boys, and you get treated like kings. And I was absolutely overawed with the crowds, the buzz when you're getting off the plane in the airport, and even in the hotel, you're having your security, guiding you off the bus, and from that point of view, it was a new and different world. But from the cricketing side, it was very much how I expected it to be, and it was amazing to be playing in front of all those crowds and all those people, and hopefully I get to do that again sometime soon.
And in terms of this season, back out here for Surrey in Division 1 now, the County Championship, looking forward to the challenge?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've probably said, a couple of people have said today, I think we're going to surprise people with how well we go this season. We've now got a shot at winning the whole thing. Last year we didn't, and we, looking at the side, we're hungry for that kind of success. We're young, we're still, inexperienced as a whole. We've brought in some more experience, obviously, in Lewis. We've still got Ram Prakash knocking around and churning out his runs like he always does, and he probably still will do. But I think it's becoming a lot more of a good blend of youth and experience, and I think that will hold us in good stead when we come up against the tough players.
Plenty of competition in the bowling attack, isn't there?
Yeah, look, every time I come back there seems to be a new big gun coming around, and so but that's good. It makes you work harder, it keeps you on your toes, it means you can't just sort of rest on your laurels a little bit. But at the same time, there's competition. We've also realised that that's a unit, and everyone's working together to play. In the games, we go on a rotation of bowlers. However that may work. It means that it might be competition for places, but if you're performing, you're going to be a part of that unit, and you're going to get your breaks at the same time. So I think that's just going to help us maintain a certain level of performance all the way through the season, rather than sweating on people's fitness, I think.
So for you, it's better that you can be picked on merit and say, I'm here because I'm better than the other 5 guys out there. That's obviously better for you having that competition.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks volumes. Obviously, if you're performing in a side that's winning games, and you're in a side that you've had to get there through a lot of competition for places in the first place, when it comes to England selection, they look at that and see, well, obviously they're trusting him and his performance in their side with such esteemed bowlers. We could do the same. So obviously, you get the other side of it, where if you're not part of it and you're not performing, you sort of you can't see a way in. But I back myself and I back everyone else in that side to sort of be performing and be a part of that unit.
And given your experience in the winter, is being involved in the full England setup now in your sights for this summer?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, every time I get asked this question, I say I don't want to get ahead of myself with saying I definitely will be in any side. But the ambition is to be there. The ambition is to be playing a part in every format of the game at the top level, representing the country. And I hope now they've had a little bit of a taste and I'm on the radar, that comes at some point during this season. Like I say, don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's the ambition.